Okay, well, let's do a build breakdown on our 1960 C60 Viking. We've done one before, but things have changed in the past 3 years. Wow, it is, I mean, that is a lot of oil up under there. So whether you've seen this truck on the internet for the past 3 years or you're seeing it just for the first time on this video, a lot of things have changed. Me and my younger brother, we were trying to start a business, just graduated college. I had a daily driver, Dodge 2nd Gen, which is the only way I could get around. But this cab came up for sale in Boyd, Texas for $600. Had a crazy idea to do a cab swap. I shot him an offer of $400 and he took it. So we did our first chassis swap. She is not the best, but man, she turns heads, and it turned into a full business. We are building these trucks full time. That is our job, is we do custom builds at Brown Bros Garage. Not just the Viking cabs, but that is our creme de la creme, our go-to, what we know best. But let's dive into a little bit on what is this truck and what has it turned into in the past 3 years. So this is a 1960 C60 Viking sitting on top of a 2001 cabin chassis Dodge. It's a 3500. It has the four-wheel drive front suspension, but it is not four-wheel drive. That's how those cabin chassis came. We'll go ahead and dive into our powertrain. It is running a 24 valve Cummins with the VP44 injection pump. Everyone hates them, and that's why I keep it. It is on a stock SO pump, the biggest, baddest big body injectors you can get. They are the 7x14 big bodies. We have a stock head gasket and some ARP 2000s head studs, and it is holding up great. We are running a massive Smeding S464 with a 63 wheel and a 9.0 housing. So she does spool up. We are running an equal length exhaust manifold, which is super rad, an air-to-air intercooler, which we changed up previously. If you knew this truck, we were running an air-to-water intercooler with a rear-mounted heat exchanger. But the bigger the turbo size we were jumping up, we were really battling IATs. So we changed to this setup. Don't mind that my bumper is missing. We ripped that off. It didn't get filmed, but we still have it. It'll go back on. It is a NV 5600, so a 6-speed transmission paired with a Valera twin disc clutch. She's holding the power pretty good, but this motor's pretty hurt. I mean, we got oil on the ground, bad. You can see the dipstick is blown out. So we probably got about 40 or 50 PSI blowing straight through the rings into the crankcase. So she's overdue for an engine overhaul. Anyways, a lot of people, hey, how are you spooling that turbo and getting it to do big burnouts? We got nitrous on board. No jet, just nozzle, just spraying all of it on a button. It helps get that turbo lit, and it helps out big time. Let's move on to wheel and tire setup. Number one question on these trucks. No, they're not gangster wheels. These are Alcoa 22.5s cut down to a 22. Wrapped in a 35-inch tire, which is a big tire. Everyone's saying they're little rubber bands. That is designed because of the turning radius. This is a 14 wide wheel and a 15.5-inch wide tire. That is the tire you have to run. So those are semi wheels up front. They're the standard duals in the rear. Those are 1250s in the back. Fills the truck out nice. It looks really good. Nitrous purge right here. If I had any in the bottle, I'd show you, but this is where we are storing our Cosby sauce in a can. So a little sleeper setup there. Boxes, they just store random tools and rags and stuff to clean the truck up. But this is the whole reason I bought this truck, or the 2nd Gen, is because of this bed. I thought it was super cool. It's just an old 90s kind of mix of a Western hauler welding bed. It's had a bunch of modifications done to it over the years it was built. I mean, this thing could have been built in the 70s or 80s. It's hard to say. A lot of hands have been welded on this thing. It is super heavy. The entire truck weighs 8,700 pounds without me in it and with low fuel. So if that tells you anything, she's heavy. Got a Dana 80 for the rear end. As you can tell, she spins them both. She gets down. Full 4-inch exhaust into some miter cut stacks. And the whole reason we ran the stacks is I didn't want to. My young brother, he said it would look good. I didn't want to run it, but we have this bed gap. It's a cabin chassis, it's longer. The cab sits here, it has to sit here, and the bed has to sit there. So we filled it with stacks and it turned out great. People love them. Poppy's Patina, that's the clear coat on the truck. I sprayed it on. I did have it wiped on initially when we first built the truck, but the more we've gotten into doing the clear coat, spraying it on gets you a high gloss finish, and it is much more durable in my opinion. So we just sprayed it on. Looks killer. Batteries are in this box, just like all our other builds, but again, we built this when we didn't know anything, so the batteries pretty much just float around in there, you know, full send, whatever. Cannot forget, we are running a fast 165 GPH titanium series. That allows us to get the solid amount of volume up to that VP44, and it is clean fuel and air-free fuel. So that definitely helps when I'm beating limiter on this thing and blowing the motor. Clean fuel, need it. Interior, custom diamond stitch, picked this all out, you know, long time ago, and that recipe has kind of stayed. Just some cheap carpet kit we threw in here and some seals and doodads and whatnot, just whatever we could afford to do to kind of make this thing more enjoyable to drive. It does have a second gen steering column in it, which, you know, a lot of haters on it, a lot of lovers on it, whatever. That's just how we had to do it back in the day. We didn't have the money to get a nice fancy steering column and adapters and all that. This was the easiest way for us to do it. Will I change it out eventually? Maybe, but I think right now it tells a story, and it's kind of a time capsule of the first truck that we ever built. Of course, we got our dome light kit installed in this truck. We sell those on our website, brownbrothersgarage.com. This is a nice little feature because the factory dome lights really suck. Truck is a full sound system truck. Did the sound system a long time ago. It does rip. It's blown the welds off the cab multiple times. So this door is actually getting more and more difficult to close because that's blown out. She's taking a beating. That's it for the interior. Trying to think what else. We got some Pro Comp traction bars on there to keep the rear end half wet together. Rear axle still dances around a little bit when we do sled pulls with it, but that's just kind of the nature of the whole thing. How we mounted this cab, again, I mean, we were just kind of hacking this thing together. We built it in 2 months for Good Guys Car Show. We wanted to unveil our company, and even though we didn't even know what we were doing, this truck meant nothing to us. We were gonna build it and sell it. But the cab mounts are basically second gen mounts that we cut off the frame, cut the centers out and modified. It's a very interesting setup. It's ghetto, but it works. We've far refined this whole cab mount thing, and we've gotten tons of messages about selling cab mounts, and we're in the works on designing cab mounts for these trucks and some other versions that could be more of a universal setup. So, but again, will we change these cab mounts out if it gives us a problem? But again, this truck is just, it's beautiful in its ghetto form. I don't know, it works. So what are you gonna do? Yeah, we're gonna build the motor in it a little bit better and probably do some wiring upgrades to it, but this truck is here today because of what we did 3 years ago. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. You know, it's ours. Well, the batteries are dead, so let's jump start this thing and go see if she'll do another burnout.